communities that are following the Vedic lifestyle. Where are the communities that are following the Vedic lifestyle? What is that ideal community? That ideal community actually is Vrindavan. When Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago, he chose to perform his pastimes in the small village of Vrindavan, isn't it? So that village of Vrindavan is actually a replica of the original Vrindavan in the spiritual world. Our goal is to go back to that original eternal residence called Goloka Vrindavan. Goloka. Go means cow, Loka means planet. Krishna's place is known as planet of cows. There's unlimited cows in the spiritual world. And Nanda Maharaj, who was the main personality in Vrindavan, as we know from Srimad Bhagavatam, he was looking after 9 lakhs cows, 900,000 cows. Today, unfortunately, most of us, we don't even have 1 cow, what to speak of 9 lakhs cows. But not so long ago, here in India, I know, I came to India exactly 50 years ago, 1976. At that time, Srila Prabhupada was still on the planet, and I was still a new devotee. I'm still a new devotee, actually, because there are so many things to learn in Krishna consciousness. So our temple president, I had been serving at the Ottawa temple in Canada. I'm from Canada. I was in the kitchen. I was actually the head cook. I'm a very good cook also. Because my father was a cook before. Yeah. Not Vaishnava cook, but he was a cook. Yeah. So I was, for 2 years I was in charge cooking. Then I was thinking, when will Krishna allow me to come to India? And one day, the temple president, he announced that this coming Gaur Purnima, that was in, I believe in March of 1976, he decided to take 3 brahmacharis. So I was brahmachari at that time, and 2 other of my godbrothers, Krishnadas Kaviraj and Lakshminath, their name, we all together went to India. First time flying to India was big experience, and especially first time coming to Mayapur. How many devotees have been to Mayapur? Wow, okay, very nice. How many have been to Vrindavan? Okay, more, even more. Very good. So in 1976, it was my first visit to India and first time going to Mayapur. And in 1976, the roads were not as good as they are today. Even the roads, some of the roads today are still not that good, but there's a lot of improvement, of course. So Srila Prabhupada, he was asking, at that time he requested his main leaders, GBC, you please select some devotees from your area, because I am building 3 big temples. At that time, Srila Prabhupada was building Krishna Balaram temple in Vrindavan. Then he was building Sri Mayapur, Sri Radha Madhava, and of course, Sri Radha Ras Bihari in Mumbai, at that time Bombay. So somehow Krishna allowed me to stay in 1976, although my temple president did not like the idea, because we were a very small temple. And from 1976, for 10 years I was in Sri Mayapur, serving sometimes in the DT department, sometimes new Bhakta, new devotee program, Namhata preaching, etc. like that. And then 86, I went to our ISKCON Calcutta temple. So like this, Krishna, the reason I'm explaining or sharing this is that Krishna, he knows best when is the proper timing for us. Where we should be at what time, this Krishna, he knows. We should not become overly anxious. We should not be in anxiety. We should simply try to humbly engage in serving the Lord, and we should allow the time factor to work. In the Bhagavad Gita, there are 5 what is called tattva. There is Ishvara, there is Jiva, there is Prakriti, then Kala, and then of course Karma. So Kala means the time factor. Krishna is explaining, I am the time. So we should learn to be patient. We should simply be satisfied. We should consider ourselves most fortunate to have the opportunity to associate with devotees. Whatever little service we can render for pleasing the Lord, for pleasing the Lord's devotees, then Krishna, he knows, because he is seated in everyone's heart, and he knows what is best for us at what time, isn't it? So coming back to this theme of community, this is very important. Now, Srila Prabhupada explained that since the last maybe 200 years, all over the world, we have more or less abandoned this more simple, natural way of living, which is actually village life. See, we should try to understand that the standard, natural way of living for the vast majority of people, for the vast majority of householders in particular, is in village. Why? Because actually there are 4 sciences that make up Vedic culture. One of those sciences is called Varta. Varta means the science of economy. What is the simple definition of Vedic economy? Someone can tell? What is Vedic economy? It is defined in the Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter. Krishi Gorakshavanijam Vaishya Karma Swabhavajam. Krishi, agriculture. Agriculture is actually described as the noblest of all professions. It's the most attractive of all activities, especially it is attracting Krishna, because we cannot do proper agriculture without simultaneously protecting the cows. So building communities actually means re-establishing nicely, properly, Vedic village life. I know this may sound a little difficult for many of us, because most of our devotees who are living in cities have become very much disconnected with village life. I mean, many have never even lived in a village, or possibly have never interacted with cows. But if we want to properly interact with Krishna, if we want to revive and re-establish our relationship with Krishna, what is the easiest way, besides chanting Hare Krishna, is to actually interact with Krishna's cows. Cows are described Gava Pratistabhutanam. Gava Pratistabhutanam. All living entities are maintained and supported actually by the presence of cows. Most of us, we don't quite understand what that means, but it is there in Shastra, and if we give the necessary time, we can begin to understand how true this is. Small example. Today, in the situation of the world, because since the last 50, 100 years, we have introduced a different type of farming practice. We have changed the natural way of doing agriculture. The natural way to do agriculture is by having bullocks plow the land. Not by using all kinds of machines as we are doing today, not by introducing all kinds of chemical fertilizers and chemical pesticides, and not by introducing hybrid seeds. These are actually described as the four enemies, isn't it? Four enemies of agriculture. Because we have introduced what is not natural today, practically 70% of our soil on the planet, all over the world, is not able to properly produce healthy food, isn't it? We are in a very critical, very crisis condition. Cows, it is nicely described, they belong to the same family as Brahmanas. Brahmanas and cows, one will say, how can Brahmana and cow belong to the same family? But Shastra is telling, cows and Brahmanas, they belong to the same family. Why? Because Brahmana, he is in Sattvagun, in the mode of goodness. And also cows by nature are in the mode of goodness. Just see, this is Krishna's plan. Because in Kali Yuga, most of us are not in the mode of goodness. Kalo Shudra Sambhava. Actually, we are described mostly as being in the mode of tamas, mode of ignorance. But just see Krishna's very intelligent plan. If we agree to associate with cows, because cows are in the mode of goodness, slowly, gradually, we will also develop the mode of goodness. It's a nice arrangement, simple. But now, because of our so-called modern advancement, we are no longer associating with cows, isn't it? That means we are missing out on this opportunity to develop the mode of goodness. So this is something very important. I have some good news for all of you. Actually, in the last few years, whenever I travel, I encourage devotees to read this one book. This one book contains all of the important instructions given by our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada, how to live this more simple lifestyle, village life.